Aaron Hobson with Rhinebeck School of Music, and in this video we're going to talk about songs with the Lydian mode. Some popular, some questionably popular. So Lydian is known as the fourth mode built off of a parent major scale. So say this is my G root and I play just a major scale. With Lydian we're going to raise that fourth tone. We're going to sharpen that fourth tone. So now we have this sound. Played over a major chord that has a very distinct sound. So let's build some chords off of the Lydian mode from G. If we're talking about G Lydian, your one chord is major, your two chord is major, your three chord is minor, your four chord is diminished, your five chord is major, your six chord is minor, your seven chord is minor, and then you are back home. Okay, so the first example I'm going to use is Freewill by Rush. That is going to be in an F Lydian. So if we're talking about F Lydian as the root here, F, we have F, G, A, B instead of the B flat. So we've got this. All right. So the intro, just down the scale, down the Lydian scale. So I'm starting on my F. If this was in Ionian, this would be in just the straight major scale, you'd have the B flat. So you'd have, but you have that B natural. And then it goes into the F riff, which is. So starting with that F root there, and you're laying on that B natural. So that is definitely Lydian, Freewill by Rush. So this next example is by Elliott Smith, Waltz number 1. So check it out, we have this D flat major chord that he keeps in the guitar line, keeps going to a G natural. So if this was regular D flat major, we would have a G flat in the scale, but he's sharpening that to the G natural. So it's kind of got this ethereal, really cool sound. It's over that D flat, the G natural, and the vocal melody is. So he's definitely laying on that G natural over that D flat chord in the beginning. Then he goes to B flat minor. Then he goes to a regular G flat, which is the normal 4 chord in D flat major. But then he goes back to the D flat. So listen to that song. It's really cool the way that he weaves that Lydian sound over that major chord. So I'm going to talk about two examples of two songs that kind of pepper in that Lydian sound over a C chord using that F sharp note. So remember, if this was regular C, we'd have an F natural, but if you sharp that F in C, then you have that Lydian sound. So the first one is Oceans by Pearl Jam. So it starts out with just a D and a C sharp, sus4 to a regular C sharp. It vamps on that. And then he goes into this C chord with an F sharp in it, which is. So that's definitely a Lydian kind of sound that he throws over that C chord, sharpening that fourth note, that fourth tone to F sharp. Another one is in Stairway to Heaven as you go into the. So that's a C add 9 chord, and then you're playing this F sharp. So you can definitely hear that F sharp against the C, and that's that sharp 4 tone. That's definitely that Lydian sound. So one of my personal faves, I used to have this record when I was a teenager. I love Joe Satriani. So Flying in a Blue Dream. So he has his rhythm guitar in an open C tuning, so I tried my best to kind of transpose that for standard tuning, but the chord progression is over this C, so this is like a C power chord, and then I'm adding a 9 and a sharp 4 note here, the D and the F sharp, resolving to a C triad. So right away it sounds very Lydian. And then he's got so if this was C natural, he would have, or if this was C major, he'd have this natural F, and it would sound more like, that's what the melody would sound like. But you've got this F sharp over the C, so now you've got this F sharp note in the melody, right? Then he goes to A flat, the same progression, just off of the A flat root. And when he goes up higher in the melody, so that is like up here, that's your A flat Lydian now, with that D natural note. It would be a D flat if it was Ionian, right? So very Lydian, and this is an example again of parallel modes. So staying within the same mode but changing the root of the mode. So you have C Lydian to A flat Lydian, then back to C Lydian. So they're not in any relative key, they're parallel modes. So next we have Steve Vai, a student of Joe Satriani's. And this is a song called Salamanders in the Sun. So in the beginning, you've got this D sus2 chord with a D Lydian. So remember, if this was D Ionian, D major, like you would have this G natural, but you sharp that G to a G sharp, and now you have this cool melody. And then he goes to C sus2, and he goes to the C Lydian with that F sharp, and then so that's another example of parallel modes. The D Lydian, and then when he goes to the C sus2, there's a C Lydian. So D Lydian, then C. Very cool sound. So everyone likes to cite Frank Zappa as a big Lydian user, so here's an example of a Lydian song by Frank Zappa, Watermelon Easter Hay. So it's just an A chord to a B chord. Measure 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a measure 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Lydian, you can hear it very clearly over that A. And over the A chord, he's playing this melody note. So he's bending this C sharp up to a D sharp. Frank Zappa. So, in jazz and fusion music, usually if you have like this major 7 sharp 11 chord, that's your Lydian sound. So I'm playing this major 7 chord, just this stock B flat major 7. If I flat that 5th tone, I get this sharp 4, sharp 11, flat 5, same thing. And then if I play Lydian over that, that sounds really nice. You can hear a lot of examples of the major 7 sharp 11 chord in jazz music. Reincarnation of a Lovebird by Charles Mingus has a lot of examples. It goes a lot between the F and the B flat major 7. The F has the C in the melody, where the B flat major 7 has the E in the melody. So, Lydian. So last example I'm going to use is the Simpsons theme song. Everybody talks about that being Lydian. If you play the Green Day version, which is just power chords, like there's a C power chord, you have the C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Definitely a C Lydian sound. But other versions, like if you listen to Danny Gatton's version, which I highly recommend, they put this B flat note in there. So if you flat the 7th tone of Lydian, you don't have a Lydian anymore. You have a Lydian dominant, and that is the 4th mode in the melodic minor scale. So it sounds like this. So if I have a major 7 with Lydian, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, that is a straight up Lydian. If I flat the 7th tone, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C, now I have a Lydian, what's called Lydian dominant. So it depends on the version you're listening to. Like Green Day is like, you know, pop punk, so they're just playing power chords against that. And if you play just like a C power chord, and you have this Lydian melody, you're not really defining the 7th tone in that, so that sounds very Lydian. But then other versions, they're defining that 7th tone as a minor 7th, that B flat, so that would be more Lydian dominant. So yeah, check out the different versions. Like Green Day did the cover for the movie, Danny Gatton did a cover of this, so there's a lot of fun to be had with this theme song. Alright, so Lydian, just the major scale with a raised 4th tone, but it definitely gives a whole other sound to the mode, to the scale. And comment below with your favorite Lydian songs if you have any. I know it's more of an obscure sound. It's more used in soundtracks and movies and people, you know, musicians who are more on the fusion fringe and the jazz fringe, but it's definitely a cool sound to get into. So if you haven't already, visit RhinebeckSchoolOfMusic.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, become a patron at patreon.com/RhinebeckSchoolOfMusic.